I've owned over 70 X-Men high-end statues. Behind me, I can't even count how much money in X-Men statues there are. So, which ones are the best? That's why you're watching this video. That's what we're going to do. You're going to find out. Surprised you didn't know that. It was in the title and the thumbnail. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, welcome to the Extreme channel. My name is Mr. X. We're about Extreme Collectibles, and today we're specifically about X-Men Extreme Collectibles. So X-Men statues are arguably my favorite statues to collect for a number of reasons. Probably first and foremost, you have the most options. So many different license companies and custom companies actually doing X-Men statues, and that's one of the reasons I have them in the background of most of the videos that I do. I've owned so many different ones, and today we're going to do a countdown of what is the best. Now clearly I don't want to take a bunch of time and count down 75 statues, so we're going to break this up a little. First and foremost, we're going to do two different videos. One today of all X-Men statues minus Wolverines. We're going to do a separate video for Wolverines in a week or two, simply for the fact that I've owned over 25 different Wolverine statues. Second thing, we are only going to look at current X-Men statues in the Extreme collection. But I'll tell you this, I guarantee there are some that I've sold, and I've probably sold over 20 of them, that probably would have made the top 5. Hopefully not number 1, although there is one that could make number 1. See, now I'm having hashtag regret. Anyway, so we're going to count them down from my least favorite to my most favorite. And keep in mind, my least favorite doesn't mean I don't like it. I just don't think it's as good as the others. All right, so minus Wolverines, let's count down, starting at number 20, the best X-Men statues in the Extreme collection as of 2022. That actually reminds me, before we do that, let's look at what's coming in. So these are X-Men statues that I actually have on order. And again, I'm excluding Wolverines. First is this Magneto vs. Sentinel. They just painted the prototype. That's what you see here. This looks absolutely amazing. I own another Magneto vs. Sentinel, which will be on the list as well, but pretty damn cool. Here's a Magneto throne piece. I kind of blind PO'd this one. These are customs, private unlicensed commissions, and sometimes you don't know what they look like until after you buy them. Then this third one, I did know what it looked like, is a combination of Magneto, Sentinel, and Throne all together. And keep in mind, a long time ago, I actually used to own XM Studios, but I don't anymore, so it won't be in this countdown. I also have a custom Pyro coming. These are all quarter scale, or 1/4 scale, 4 times smaller than a real-life version. I have another blind PO. It's a Storm vs. Sentinel. So I don't know what that looks like. Hopefully it's going to be good. I guess we're going to find out. I have a Dio of Juggernaut vs. Colossus. This has some crazy switch-out options. A custom Mystique, which also looks amazing, which may replace one that's on the list today. And then while this isn't exactly X-Men, it's the closest I have, so I'm going to throw in this X-Force Domino in the list as well. And again, I'm not ranking these because I haven't got them in yet. Maybe years down the road, I will do another countdown. Because believe it or not, I did this countdown about 3 years ago, but over half the pieces have changed. And it'll be interesting to see some of my favorite pieces from then are still in the collection, or if they're still ranked near the top. Now let's dive in, starting at number 20. My least favorite, and again doesn't mean it's bad, is one of my most recent acquisitions. It's this Kitty Pryde. And mainly it was because of the portrait, although they are doing a different portrait. So I'm getting a different portrait, an updated portrait. I've already paid for it, so it'll be interesting to see if that raises the likeness of this up on the list. Number 19 is one I've had for quite a while. I actually like it. It's Jubilee vs. Sentinel. And they don't do too many Jubilee pieces. There's been a few other customs, but I think this was the first one that actually came out. I am very happy with it, but it just doesn't raise to the level of caliber as some of the other ones, especially since the commissioner scammed a bunch of people on different pieces. Maybe that just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. XM Apocalypse comes in at number 18. This piece has some incredible detail, and I know a lot of people love it, but I just couldn't get past the pose. Now, I still own it because the detail and the sculpt is amazing, but that pose really, really hurts it for me. So a lot of people will be shocked that I actually like number 17, XM Studios Professor X, better. I really like this piece. I almost sold it because it really doesn't go with anything. Obviously, it goes with X-Men pieces, but just how my weird mind works. They did him real justice for a character that's very difficult to capture in a statue form. Number 16 is by Sideshow. You know, I'm not a big fan of Sideshow anymore, but I think they did an amazing job on their original Mystique, the exclusive version. I really like this. I also owned XM Studios at one time, but I think this one is much better. However, it will probably be replaced by that custom that I have coming in. Number 15 is XM Studios Gambit. Now, as a disclaimer, I think Sideshow Gambit is better than this one, but I pre-ordered this one first, so that's what I have in my collection. Plus, it doesn't take up as much space, and I think it's still a solid piece coming in at number 15. Calling an audible here, there are so many X-Men statues, I forgot some in the countdown, so post-edit, this would be between number 14 and 15, so we'll call it 14 and a half. This custom Beast vs. Sentinel looks very cool. Doesn't go with the rest of my Sentinel line, but doesn't take away from the fact that it's pretty neat. Number 14, another Sideshow piece, X-23. I really like this piece. It's a great companion to the Wolverine, which you always see behind me, and you'll see on the list in a week or so. They did an absolutely fantastic job. There have been some customs I've seen that probably surpass this, but this was so solid for the price I got it at. I kept it, and it comes in at number 14. 13, a recent acquisition I waited 4 years for, was this Colossus vs. Sentinel. This is a custom, and it's part of a line that you're going to see quite a few other ones in the countdown near the top. But I really like this. It did not disappoint. I love how it shows his power, and I love how these Sentinel pieces, I think, are really scaled correctly. Another one I forgot, this custom Apocalypse on Throne. It still holds up after all this time. We'll call it 12.5 in the ranking. And I love my facial expressions in all these old thumbnails, by the way. But still holds up a little overscaled. Otherwise, it probably would be ranked higher. And the Throne itself is overscaled, not Apocalypse, because he's polymorphic. 12 is XM Studios' Dark Phoenix. You know, I had some paint issues with mine, and I think there's some quality control stuff, but otherwise, it's a fantastic piece. I don't think this has been beat when it comes to this character. Still really impressive years later, and I wonder if it ever will be beat. Number 11 is a custom Psylocke vs. Sentinel. Now, I gave this a higher rating simply for the fact I love the concept. I think Psylocke definitely could use some work on her portraits and some other stuff. However, I love how she's walking through a hand that she just sliced in half, and that concept to me is not quite unbeatable, but it's pretty damn good. Number 10 is this custom Nightcrawler statue. Now, there have been a ton of Nightcrawlers released recently, and I had this for a few years, and I think some of them probably match this, definitely, but I am still impressed after all these years. I just wish he was fighting a Sentinel and still maintain some of this concept so it'd go with the rest of my line. Number 9 is an X-Men villain, arguably. This custom Omega Red. It's the best Omega Red statue that's been made. There haven't been too many, and I have owned other ones, but this is done really well and a quintessential villain to the X-Men, more specifically Wolverine, but I love this piece. 8. Despite some really rough portraits, which is a big negative on this is an amazing concept. This Rogue vs. Sentinel, showing her power, tearing him in half. This is an absolutely incredible piece, and I think at one time it was near the top of my list. It's fallen a little bit as better pieces have come out, but I still love it to this day. Number 7 is actually a prototype I have. It's a custom. Is Mr. Sinister and Madeline Pryor. This looks awesome. And I definitely can say this is the best Mr. Sinister statue out there. I do have another Mr. Sinister that's not in this countdown, and I don't know why. I just thought of it right now. It's a Mr. Sinister on Throne, but let's not talk about that because it's not in the countdown. It'd probably be near the end. I just kept it because it was a Throne piece. I can't stop talking about it when this is the piece that I should be showcasing. This looks amazing. I love the simplicity of it, and I think it's the best Mr. Sinister statue ever done. Number 6 was very controversial, but I still think it's amazing. This concept is second to none. Iceman freezing a giant Sentinel hand on his ice ramp. Hasn't been beat, in my opinion. The concept is amazing, and I think the sculpt is equally very cool. Despite some breakages, a awesome piece coming in at number 6. Number 5, part of that same line, and again, a custom piece, Cyclops vs. Sentinel. You know, I bought this as part of the line, and I didn't think it would be that good, but it is very impressive. Probably should have been a little higher up on the list as I look at it and think about it now. I wish I could change it. I'd probably put it at number 3, but it's stuck at number 5 and we're not going to change it. Number 4, still impressive to this day, XM Studios Storm. Hasn't been beat in my opinion. I wonder if my custom one will. I highly doubt it, but the concept of this, everything is on point. The switch outs, really impressive with XM Studios Storm, and I'm so glad that I bought the bullet. I bought it secondhand retail. I got a decent price on it. Well, I paid over retail, of course, but definitely worth it. Number 3, I'd probably switch with that number 5 now that I'm making the video. I made the list ahead of time, but it's still really well done, this custom Archangel. Archangel is a great, great character, and I think they captured everything in this. It's simplistic, yet advanced at the same time, and I really, really like it. And it contributes really, really well to my X-Men villains. So that comes at number 3, although it probably should have been number 5. So that brings it down to 2, and I think my top 2 in my previous list are still my top 2. I think they might have switched, but I haven't watched my previous list. Like I said, it was 3 years ago. But number 2 is this custom Sabretooth. Now this is master painted, so it wasn't factory paint. It only came as a kit, which is an unpainted statue, but it still holds up to this day. And if you're looking at the Wolverine, that's the number 1 that I said I might have regrets selling. But let's ignore him. Let's focus on the Sabretooth. Absolutely amazing piece. I think it's the best Sabretooth ever made. And there's been some incredible choices. I've owned 3 or 4 other Sabretooth statues as well, so I can definitely say that. But number 1, I think, is still king. Magneto vs. Sentinel. The concept of this blows it away. The paint, the sculpt. I actually own the prototype, which makes my love for it even more because the paint was done by a master painter. It's absolutely amazing. I will never sell this piece. I can't because I don't have the box because it was the prototype, but unbelievable. I still think this hasn't been beat. It encompasses everything I love about X-Men on so many different levels, from the Wolverine skeleton to the Easter eggs of the other characters to showing what an incredible badass that Magneto is. So that is my list. And you know what's cool is there's so many great X-Men statues, some that are not even on my list, some that I've sold, some that I've never had here. So throw down in the comments below, what's your favorite X-Men statue? I love to interact with you guys, and that also enters you into a statue giveaway. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. Please hit that like button, and I'll say you're even more awesome. And subscribe, because you don't want to miss that upcoming list of Wolverine. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.